Don't rush. Just take it one step at a time. Make sure your life is great because your relationships with your children, your parents, your exes, your career, your money, your health, all of it is part of what is going to magnetize your perfect match or your best caliber human. And so don't rush such that you then have to make that human compensate for some personal work you didn't do or for some part of your life you didn't figure out. Give yourself that gift of being your own mate and figure that stuff out with a coach or a therapist or both, such that you really are at your best when you start to put your love light back on so that you attract the best.
In today's busy world, how can we find the inspiration, knowledge, and energy to live a healthy and empowered life? If we balance and harmonize our mind, exercise our body, live according to the laws of nature, and connect to spirit, can we find a way to heal, become our authentic self, and live our purpose with love? I am your hostess, Amy Fournier, and welcome back to Awakening Aphrodite. Hey, my friends, some of you have been contacting me on social media. You've been seeing me post about my biogeometry training and my biogeometry tools. What is that thing? Okay, is it like dowsing? No, it's not dowsing. It's much more powerful than that, and it's amazing. It's the science that's taken the holistic wellness world by storm. It is biogeometry, life, math, shape, nature, understanding how sound and shape and color and numbers and all these things ancient societies knew and understood would help harmonize their lives, not only on the inside, but the outside too. So you definitely want to check out biogeometry for yourself. It's in my e-store because I put the things there that have changed my life to try to help you out so you can change your life for the better too. Hit up my website e-store, which is my name, amyfournier.com. Look for biogeometry. Use my coupon code at checkout, Amy Fournier, and you can save 8%. Friends, have you lost your sense of joy of being alive? Maybe you know somebody who needs to lighten up a little bit, or you might be in a period of transition. Well, guess what? You might want to look into getting hummingbird wild earth animal essence. Or perhaps you need to feel like you want to develop your intuitive abilities, or you want to feel like you're connected to your spiritual calling. Well, you might want to tap into the crow essence. Or maybe you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed by all the things on your plate and you really wish you could accomplish different tasks quickly and efficiently. Or you feel depleted by a fast-paced life where you can't keep up. Well, guess what? You might want cheetah essence. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the wild earth animal essences that I discovered through my buddy Paul Chek that have been created by Daniel Maple. You can check it out on my website, amyfournier.com. Find the wild earth animal essences and use my coupon code AMY, A-M-Y, at checkout, and you can save 10%. Have fun shopping and let me know what you think. Welcome back to Awakening Aphrodite. The show is about helping you to be healthy and fit in mind, body, and spirit, as well as harmonize your masculine and feminine energy, tap into your intuition, your true source of power, and awaken your authentic self. Well, my friends, yes, indeed, Aphrodite is known as the goddess of love. So what better topic for us to talk about today than love with a love expert? I've got a love expert for us today. So excited to have found her. I heard Laurie Gerber talking on another podcast a few weeks ago, and I just was like, oh yeah, she is engaging. She is fun to listen to, and she gets right to it. Like, she's experienced, she's practical. She gives you just like the juice, like, yeah, just give it to me straight, Laurie. Like, don't sugarcoat it. And how can I get some results and get right to the issue? You're going to love this show today. Laurie Gerber is actually one of the most engaging and effective life coaches and presenters in the whole country. After holding several positions at the Handel Group for over the last 18 years, including president of HG Life, Laurie is currently licensing the Handel method and focusing on LOVE coaching. When love is truly treated as a verb, world peace is possible. She works to prove this theory every day. She's been presenting to and coaching individuals, couples, groups, and a wide range of partners, including Match, Zooks, J-Date, General Assembly, She Tribe, Be Social Change, Ivy Connect, Elevate, and so many more. She's appeared on television shows, podcasts, radio shows, and IG Lives. Check out The Secret Free Diet, her TED Talk on the power of truth telling. We talk about that in today's episode, actually. When she's not working from her New York City townhouse, she's meditating, jogging, or attempting to get cuddles from her 9, 19, and 21-year-old kids and her husband of 25 happy years. So today, we talk about cultivating love in your life. Relationships, how it all starts with the relationship with ourselves, how Laurie's system of heart, mind, and body approach and alignment and doing it in that order is very important to success. The importance of establishing your dream and getting clear on that first. And I asked Laurie, do men and women want the same things? What do they want in this day and age? I also asked Laurie, is it possible for us to be in love our whole relationship, or does it go through stages? What's a realistic expectation? What's normal as opposed to what's typical? What's a realistic expectation for happiness in a relationship? And what about settling and thinking, you know what? I'm not going to find everything I want, so this guy is good enough. Do you find yourself thinking that way? Definitely listen to the end of the show to see what Laurie has to say about that one. And of course, I asked Laurie, come on, how do you actually meet quality people in this day and age? Give it to me straight, Laurie, and she does. And then, like I always seem to do on these shows, of course, I have a complete personal share that I was not planning on sharing, something very personal and intimate about in a relationship that I had that honestly was probably one of the best relationships of my life. But it ended, and I talk about why it ended, and I asked kind of Laurie her opinion on that, and why it was a deal breaker for me ultimately, and basically what I could have done about it. And if you're in a similar position, is that something that you might want to think about? So enjoy this fabulous episode about magnetizing your perfect match and cultivating more true love in your life with my amazing guest, Laurie Gerber. And welcome back, everybody. Today I'm here with Laurie Gerber. Laurie, welcome to Awakening Aphrodite.
Great to be here.
Well, as everybody heard in your wonderful introduction, my goodness, you are perfect for this show because, as you know, the show is Awakening Aphrodite, who is the goddess of love. And you are in the love business. You are in the business of cultivating love in ourselves and others. And I can't wait to pick your brain and share with my audience all your experience and your wisdom that you've learned in your very impressive career. So welcome, welcome. Let's begin with a little bit of your story. You have a really interesting story about how you talk about you almost lost your marriage, which I believe is going on. You've been dating since you were 17, but you found it again and it led to your work. So I'm going to let you take it from there. Explain to us a little bit of your story.
Yeah, I think we did meet when I was 17, but we didn't start dating till I was 18. And now I'm turning 50 this year. So it has been a long road with this guy. I actually came to coaching after many years of personal growth. I love personal growth. I've loved it since I was a kid. I learned that from my mom. And I came for career help. But my coach took one look at my marriage and my relationship to myself and food. And she said, you can't even think straight. Like you are nowhere near talking about your career. You need to fix your foundation or else you're going to tank your marriage and your health and you're not really going to have a leg to stand on. So that was my first wake up call that something was even wrong in my marriage. I thought it was normal to just be kind of estranged and co-parenting. And it is normal to a lot of people, but it was not acceptable to my coach, and then it became not acceptable to me. So that's how I got introduced to the coaching methodology that I teach now. And that was what inspired me, because that worked so well for me. That's what inspired me to learn the methodology across all areas of life. And then I've been specializing in love, dating, relationships, and all that for 20 years now.
And that's one of the things I love about your work is that, you hit the nail on the head. I mean, how lucky for you to find a therapist or a coach that said, hey, wait a minute, this isn't about the other person. This is about you. We got to fix up your relationship with yourself, quote unquote, like you said. And that's such a big part of, my work in health and wellness that, it starts with the self and you're projecting your crap on someone else and then, unrealistic expectations and baggage from before, which I know we're going to get into some of that. But what I also love about your work is it incorporates the mind, body, spirit of the client. I don't know. I don't have much experience in therapy. I mean, I've gone to therapy before, but I can't imagine all therapists go into mind, body, spirit. I mean, I've got some people in my family that are, in therapy, and I can tell you for sure they don't go into any physical stuff, no diet stuff, nothing. I mean, come on, hormones, anyway, let's talk a little bit about how you incorporate those three aspects with your clients.
Yeah, and to me, it has to be comprehensive. And I learned that again by doing, because I had tried therapy, yoga, tai chi, meditation, courses, books, gurus. I was so into everything. And I still was in my early 30s, having checked all these boxes of success, completely not happy, not connected to my own heart, not connected to my vision or dreams, not executing on good plans I would come up with. But I had a lot of knowledge and I could do
Yep.
things successfully, but that did not equal the real results that I wanted. So it was this, I would call it heart, mind, body, because that's the order I
Yep.
think it should go in, approach that finally trapped me with my dreams. And that's why I refuse to use anything less, because I know it doesn't work. Or if it works, it doesn't get sustainable results. So what do I mean by heart, mind, body? Heart is, can you tell the truth about what you really want? Now, when my coach first asked me, what do you really want for your body? I drew a blank, because I had been anesthetizing myself with food for years. And sugar was a family addiction, and we never even questioned it. That's just what it was. And I had no dream or vision when it came to my health, my body, my relationship to food. It was my best friend. Like, there was no vision. It was my best friend and lover, frankly, right? It supplied all of my sensual needs for me and anesthetized me to the feelings I didn't want to feel. So I had to dig. And I actually had this weird Helen Keller moment where I remembered when I was 11 having a dream about my body and health so far back. And I remembered this moment when I was 11 and I was sitting in this sun-filled kitchen, a friend of my mom's. She had brought food in from the garden for a salad, and she was preparing the salad, and she had just done yoga, and her chest was open, and she was elegant and beautiful and sensual and graceful. And she was making this beautiful salad out of something from the earth that she grew. And I thought, oh, that's who I want to be.
Wait, did this really happen?
Yeah,
Or was it a dream?
that happened.
That actually,
That was a moment in my life that I
nice.
then completely forgot about, buried beneath piles of sugar and pounds of fat, and just threw out the window for bagels and muffins. Okay. But it was there. Like, it really was there. Like Helen Keller knew the word water. Like, it really was right in the back recesses of my mind. So the hard part of coaching is go find it. It's in there somewhere. There
Excavating it.
there was an innocent you that was allowed to dream at some point before you got left back in ballet and your hips grew in and you decided F this, right? Like, I'm just going to eat what I want if I can't look like a ballerina, blah, blah, blah. Right.
Yeah,
So you know the deal with
I
growing up
do.
as a woman.
Wow, I
So
do.
that was the hard part. The hard part was, what do you really desire? And that's across all areas of life. And I find women get stumped on that with love. They never have the right answer the first try. It's cliche upon childhood fantasy from a TV show, upon my daddy, upon, like, there's just like layers of BS. before you get to the heart of what it is that you really want.
And I'll say too, before you get to the mind and the body, that I'm sure you get answers like, I don't know. I just want to be happy. I just want peace and, just to have, things. And like, I'm sure it's kind of very nebulous. So it's like, you probably have to help people really pinpoint, and I would think really clarify their deep core values. Like
Yes.
what's really under that? Like, because in my experience, what I've seen from, all the people on my show and the guests and all my work, women need safety. They need to be able to trust their guy. But to your point, it's not enough, but we have to have that to really be able to blossom and to be vulnerable enough to be truly intimate.
That's one
So,
of the core things
yeah.
that people tend to get to. I will say I prefer someone say I want to be happy and peaceful than what I often get, which is he needs to be tall,
Oh,
or
God.
he needs to have this much
Yeah.
money, or he needs
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
be intellectually whatever, or have this many degrees. Like I prefer happy and peaceful because at least that's in the direction of what will actually be good for you versus, again, the cliches or proxies almost of what we think is going to get us happy and peaceful. It's like we make this guess about, we just make a guess about what's like, I was guessing bagels were going to make me feel good, but I was
Yeah.
wrong.
Yeah.
It's just so wrong.
And you know what else is good about that? I just want to be happy as opposed to I want him to be tall. That I want to be happy is self-oriented as opposed to exposed to external, like his thing, because you could be with a guy that makes you, to me, it's all like how you want to feel when you're with the guy. I want to feel happy when I'm with him. He can be short, whatever, but if I feel like I'm with a king who is going to take care of me and I can trust and this, right? So it's more
That's
like,
what I'm looking for. That's the heart reading. And you can tell it's a heart reading when it has feelings in it,
okay,
not, facts and measurements, right?
yeah.
So in some people do need to be more specific and some people need to be less specific. And in regards to how you want to feel, that's hugely key to the heart and
Okay.
what I need to elicit from someone. But most people don't even think about how they want to feel,
Right.
just think they know the answers from what they were told by marketing or their parents or their religion or their culture. And we have to circumvent that because obviously we've been fed a lot of.
Yeah.
Okay, should we move on to the head?
Yes.
Okay. So the thing that this method of coaching, it's called the Handel method. The thing that the Handel method of coaching did that no other modality or coach or course or therapist had ever done was argued with me like a lawyer for my dreams. So, in order to execute effective action towards your dreams, your heart and your head need to be in alignment. And the reason I said heart should go first is because I want to line my head up with my heart, not my heart up with my head.
Yep.
Because I think my heart's smarter. Not by a lot, but marginally smarter and marginally going to get me more of what will feel good in my life. And ultimately, since we die, I'm more about how you're going to feel than what you can check off. I was one of those girls and I've met a lot of successful women who check off a lot of boxes doesn't make them happy. So I'm going heart first, let it give you the reading of what it truly wants and get it in your bones. And then I'm going to argue with your head because your head has all kind of thoughts that conflict and do not, right? So my heart said natural, graceful, embodied, healthy, food from the earth. And my mind said, but a meal only tastes good if it's fried and has sugar on the side. My mind said healthy food tastes gross. My mind had a lot of very detrimental thoughts and beliefs that conflicted with what my heart really wanted. Same thing with my husband. My heart wanted intimacy and connection. My mind said, he doesn't care. He's not into it. He's not up for it. And so my coach had to argue with my mind and be willing to stick up for my dream and go, don't think this, think that. And no therapist would dare do that. It's not their job. It is a coach's job. Don't think this, think that. And so thank goodness I followed the thoughts my coach suggested because they aligned with my heart and they got me the results that I wanted.
Excellent. That's excellent. Wow, wow, wow. So the wisdom of the heart is first, but I love what I'm hearing you say is, but it's also critical you take the mind online. It's not like you just go with the heart because that's a nightmare disaster. It's like your mind is part of it, everybody. It's just that it's not your first go to, is your point, which I love.
And also, your mind is giving you your actions, right? The thoughts are giving you your actions. Your actions are a result of your thoughts. So if you're not managing your thoughts, if you don't
Yeah,
even know what your thoughts are, I heard a woman, I just was speaking to a woman
true.
today who lost her husband 4 years ago. And she's beautiful and smart and funny. Like she should be in love again. Her husband was, she's in her young 50s. There's no way her husband wanted her to end her life then. And she is telling me her thoughts. And one of her thoughts is she can't get that lucky twice.
Oh.
And I go, uh-oh.
Mm-hmm.
Like, heart wants love. I know the deceased husband wants her to have love again. And then,
Yeah.
but the thought is I couldn't get, and to me, I go, my thought is if you can get it once, of course you can get it again. It's the opposite. What I think,
Wow.
but her thought is will absolutely be proven true by her, the scientist and the data collector. So if she believes it, she's going to prove it true. Oh dear. My job
Yeah.
is to argue with that thought and put a different thought in place. That's what we do with the thoughts. And then the thoughts lead to the plans. And then that brings us to body. So again, I went to great courses. I read great books. No one ever followed me home to make sure I stopped eating bagels or to make sure I started trying to eat vegetables that tasted good or learning how to cook a vegetable that tasted good or whatever, or had that hard conversation with my husband where I asked him why we were connected and intimate. So she actually followed me home. She not actually, she figuratively followed me home by
Oh,
following up. Did you have the conversation? Show me what you ate today. Send me the food log. How did you do? And every single day I was accountable until I got enough good results that I wasn't trying to rebel, right? I wasn't trying to resist. I wanted to eat the things that made me feel good and made my body look the way I wanted it to. And I wanted to have the conversations with my husband and I wanted to stop interrupting him and I wanted to start having sex with him again. And all of those
wow.
things changed physically first because I was accountable and then because it got me great results.
I love it. It's so powerful. And what I heard in there too was that one woman's example. I'm sure you come across people's projections, like self-fulfilling prophecies. It's like if her belief was I can't possibly be in love again. Of course I'd like to, but it's very unlikely. We have to be so careful of the things that we say. We're casting spells every time we speak. We're throwing it out in the universe and we're going to, like you said, the universe is going to oblige and accommodate
Yeah.
and fulfill our
Yeah.
wishes. And
You are that powerful. And it's
yeah,
not just what you say, unfortunately, it's what you think backed by feelings. So
yeah, because you're going to act that out, whether you're conscious
you
of it or not. Yeah.
ought to learn to hear the radio in here.
Wow. Yeah. I also love how your work identifies people's dreams. Tell us about that, Laurie. Why is that important to get the client's dream? Because I'm sure you hear like, oh, I don't know what my dream is or whatever.
Well,
But
first of all, I mean, what's the point of doing anything if we don't have a goal and how will we know if we get there? Right. So the dream is just putting the destination into the GPS.
okay.
And now what I try to do is then figure out the quickest route to the destination. But if I don't have a destination, I really can't do my best work. So we have to articulate the dream. And like I said, it usually takes a few layers of peeling what your parents taught you, what your friends say, what society says, I mean, I remember watching, I think it was called the Pirate Movie when I was little. And I think it was Brooke Shields and this blonde guy with blue eyes. I
Oh,
can't
Blue Lagoon.
the Blue Lagoon. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm mixing
yeah.
that with the pirate movie. Okay.
Yeah.
The Blue Lagoon.
Well, they were abandoned on the island like a pirate.
There
So
was there was
yeah,
some
yeah, yeah, yeah,
ocean similarity.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Anyway, thank you for helping me remember the name of that movie.
Mhm.
It
Oh,
was
yeah.
again like one of these pivotal moments in my budding sexuality. And I was like,
Yep.
blonde hair and blue eyed. Of
Uh
course.
huh.
What? I just ruled out so many humans, but I never questioned it. I never went back to go, why? What? Do I really want to go with a 10-year-old's decision? I mean,
Yeah, right. The rest of my life.
yeah, or
Yeah.
could I like open my mind maybe
Yep.
to a little shorter, a little taller, a little, like a little more variety, a little more diversity. So again, we just have to keep healing all the not it, right? All the not dream until I can hear a dream that makes you go, oh, I'd be happy just reading this dream. Like, I just want to bathe in it.
And what about if a client says, but Laurie, that's unrealistic. That's never going to happen. I'm this old or this is my life. Like, come on, Laurie, let's get real. What if they say that?
Well, first of all, I don't want a fantasy. I want a stretch but doable, right? That's one
Okay.
of the requirements of a dream. So if they go, I want a multi-billionaire who's going to fly me on his jet and never gets mad and laughs at all my jokes, I'm like, no. So again, we do a lot of rounds to make it a stretch but doable. But I do believe everybody has a right to love. Now, I also don't work with people who are grieving or in the throes of a depression or have a mental illness that's really taken over their life. I mean, there are exceptions to people who should be finding love right now. But if you are healthy, a successful person, and you're capable of giving love, you've been in love before, you believe in it as a concept, you just know you have blockages to it, I'm certainly going to let you dream I'm madly in love with the love of my life, right? Like that is fair game for any human. I'm madly in love with the love of my life. That's not unrealistic. And now let me hear all the reasons why you think it's not possible, and I'm going to argue with them.
Is it realistic to think people can be madly in love the whole relationship? Because you hear about the stages, the honeymoon, and you get to be friends. So as you get in a long term, you really should be looking for someone that you want to be friends with, because when you're in your 50s, 60s, 70s, it's more about companionship. So you got to like the person. So is it realistic though to think you're going to be madly in love? I mean, it goes through stages, right?
If you want to say deeply in love instead of madly in love, please be my guest.
Oh,
I
okay.
think madly in love might be the younger version, deeply in love might be the older version. If you could
Yeah.
only stomach in love, delightfully in love, happily in love, whatever adjective you can believe in, I am fine with as long as it's in love. And no, the
Yeah.
madly doesn't stay. I don't believe that. I've never seen an example where madly, in other words, where
Yeah.
fever pitch,
Yeah.
ecstatic,
Out of
in
your
love
mind.
feelings
Yeah.
last forever. But they certainly should start out pretty close to that. And then they should mellow into something beautiful, more complex, more dynamic, but not any less amazing and special.
What a great answer, Laurie. I love it. That's so fantastic. Okay, so let's pinpoint now. Are you finding because the women's movement and women making more money and the online dating scene, the different culture, hard to meet people that are single. We got all the weirdos. We got all the mystery.
Wow, you've like really called all the
Yeah.
complaints very well.
Sorry. Yeah, you getting all my baggage, Lori? Yeah, and since we're on that train, all the misrepresentations online that are easy to do. Um, what what's your blanket advice for a person who's got their shit together, a woman listening to this show and being like, I'm a good person. I like who I am. I'm happy in my life. I just want to find someone I enjoy being with. We're compatible, but I can't meet anybody because, I don't go to church anymore. And, now I don't go to the gym and people are weird and, people really don't have parties. How do you meet people that are real?
I do have blanket advice for that. How do I
Oh,
meet people who are real? Well, let me tell you something. There's billions of them on the planet, and nobody's even tied to their home anymore, just so
yeah.
you know. You
Yeah.
really don't even get to be like, well, what if they're not local? Yeah, I don't even, that's not even a thing anymore. Okay. Especially once you've raised kids and you're a grown up. So there absolutely are billions of single people and maybe billions. I'm not sure if it's billions. It's certainly millions. And there are new ones becoming available at all times. So any smell of scarcity anyone wants to throw up, I'm blowing that out the window. Okay. Like there is no scarcity of humans that are real. There is a percentage of those humans who are scammers, criminals, liars, addicts, deeply mentally ill. Yes, that is the planet we chose
Yep.
to incarnate on. I'm sorry. Okay. Like that's where we're
Yep.
at right now as a human culture. So you are going to have to weed out the riffraff. It's true. But just like you exist as a happy, healthy person who wants companionship, so do they. If you exist, so does your match. And I'm sorry, but if you want to buy a new dress for a party, you should probably go to the mall. And if you go to the mall or you go to a big department store, you're going to go through stores you don't care for. You're going to have prices you don't care for, colors you don't care for, styles and fits you don't care for. You're not offended that you have to look through 1,000 things to find 100, to narrow it down by 10, to have three fit, to take one home. No one's offended by that. Why are
That's
we so
great.
offended that we have to sift through humans? And my answer is, I think we're offended because we're so bad at it that we exhaust ourselves and we give ourselves so much bad evidence for our bad theories that we then think we're right. Just like I thought I could only enjoy meals with sugar. I really thought I was right. I proved it true in my life. I was only enjoying meals with sugar. So it has to be true, right? Not true.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when I teach you how to date more efficiently and effectively and never let you go on a crappy date again, then all of a sudden you could start to believe there's decent humans out there. Because there are. Is everyone a decent human? No. Should you trust people? No. Should you give out your number? No. Should you go to someone's house? No. Like, so should you drink? No. Like, I have a lot of good ideas for how to stay safe and avoid creeps. But there's going to be creeps, and you're going to have to look through some some clothes you don't want to take home with you, and that's okay. And that's okay.
Are the majority of the people that are single that are working with you meeting significant others online, or are they meeting in them in other venues?
Here's what I say. If you need a dress for a party, you should go to the mall. If you would like to have an easy time seeing a wide selection. If you have a friend that has an amazing closet and you'd like to go over and pick something out, cool. There are ways to get a dress without going to a department store or a mall. But if you don't have a friend with a dress in the closet and you're not going to church and you're not going to the gym and you're not joining clubs and you're not going out and doing things and meeting people, then you have to go to the store. You have to go online and you have to be smart about it. So people are meeting people all sorts of ways. I think everyone should be online. And you don't have to be online on Match or whatever. You don't have to, you could pick Christian singles. You could pick silver singles. You could pick farmers only. You could pick whatever is right for you. There are now so many dating sites and only more coming and only better coming. So, of course, you should go to the store and see what's there.
Mm-hmm.
But don't exhaust yourself and don't do a bad job and don't psych yourself out, and also be looking in real life. And I could give a whole
Yeah.
talk on in real life. Like, don't be looking at your phone. Look up, smile,
Yeah.
talk to people, meet people. If you're not willing to do that,
Yeah.
then yes, you have to get online.
That's a very, very good point. And how about this business about how men are looking for younger women? Like so if I have friends who are online and they say, if they're in their mid 40s, they're getting mid 60-year-olds contacting them and no one in their age, because the 40-year-olds are looking for 20-year-olds or the 50-year-olds are looking for 30-year-olds. So what do you think about that?
When anyone makes a blanket statement about that, I go, like, what kind of data are you collecting over there and why? Right? It's like, oh, in my family, people are obese, right? So I was like, well, I guess I should just be obese then. Right? Except that, guess what? You don't have to be obese if at least I didn't have to be obese, right? So, like, when you look at statistics and you look at data in a way that just proves your hopeless theory, I find that to be a very bad idea for happiness dating. So, do men tend to date young? I think I think a New York Times article just came out and the statistics are like, yes, but not that much, like not so much that each individual should feel affected. And there's also a great trend among men as they age, trying out the younger women, discovering they have nothing in common with them, and they want companionship too. And I say, men, go for it. Have a bunch of flings, get adored, have fun, admire that beauty and youth, and then settle down with someone age appropriate who you can relate to.
Yeah.
Right? You can invite her in for a threesome if you like. Anything goes, but it's not true that you're not desirable.
Oh, for sure. I think what they were saying is, Laurie, that pretty much, 85, 90% of the men that are contacting them are 3 decades above, like their age group
That's
doesn't
an
even.
exaggeration and fishy is all I'm saying. Am I saying a 40-year-old woman won't get a 60-year-old looking? Absolutely. Or 50 will get a 70. Men are very happy to date younger. But if she is only getting that, I want to see her profile. I want to see her pictures. I want to see how she's presenting herself. I want to understand. And I also think it's fine for you at 50 to date someone who's 60. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
If you don't want to go to 65 or 70, I'm okay with that too. Again, you're looking for one person. So to
Yeah.
look at statistics and to start making generalizations about how people are is a great way to stay at home with your donuts and your Netflix.
Laurie, are men and women looking for the same thing in this day and age?
I think many people, especially in my market over 40, are looking for companionship because things have changed. We are not dependent upon each other for family. We are not dependent on each other for finances.
Yep.
I mean, that is a very recent evolution, and we are reeling from it, really.
Mm-hmm.
So I think more and more, but all genders are looking for companionship, fun, best friends with benefits, a great sex life. And I think that's really healthy, a really healthy set of things to be looking for from your partner. So, yes, I think, and again, there's always the people who are looking for a fling, right? There's the people who are looking for a fling, who are looking for sex, who are looking for admiration. And there are people who are looking to be taken care of, men and women,
Yep.
who
Yep.
want to be taken care
Yep.
of, who want a purse and a nurse, as they say, or a nurse and a purse.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, there's the people looking for a purse and a nurse. There's the people looking for some ego compensation or some fun and beauty and excitement. And then there are people who are looking for long-term committed companionship and all that comes with that. And again, I don't judge that. That is what that is. But then those communities need to find each other. Just like the polyamory people need to find each other. Like just
Mm-hmm.
hang out with your people. You're good.
And that leads us to one of your teachings about honesty in relationships. You know, the polyamory thing, because I actually know a person that kind of a sad story, but the person was actually cheating all along, but she totally thought he was with her and then he ghosted her. It was just really sad. She's still, I mean, a year and a half later, she's still not over it. She just like, what the freak happened? Like they were talking about moving in together, buying a house together, all that. And meanwhile, all this, I guess, was going on the side. I mean, it's basically everybody's worst nightmare. I mean, I guess you could say there must have been signs, but she didn't see them. I don't know. But what are your thoughts on honesty or maybe eliciting honesty? Like what? I know you didn't know, but what could she have done wrong? Like she thought like she was just blindsided. You know?
I wrote an article a really long time ago for Huffington Post called "Why My Husband Won't Cheat on Me."
Okay.
Really gutsy thing to write.
Yeah. Ooh. It's like Carrie
But
Bradshaw stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, knock on wood, fingers crossed, right?
Yep.
Humans lie. I did a whole TEDx talk
Yeah.
on humans lie. There's no humans that don't lie. So you're not going to find a human that doesn't lie. The best you're going to do is find a human that doesn't want to lie and that can acknowledge that humans lie. And then together you can practice creating the conditions where you'd each feel safe to tell the truth. Ooh, I fantasized
Yes.
about that. I looked at porn. I got a crush. I want a dog. I want to change religions. I want to bring in a third. I don't like when you touch me that way. La 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 la. Right? Like, so there's no escaping that humans lie, including you, including me. You're looking for that 50% of humans that doesn't want to, that wants to practice telling the truth, that wants to have the freedom that comes with telling the truth, that wants to be known and have the intimacy that comes with being known and offer you the same. And those people exist. And they're a clan. They're a group of humans that you need to find, and you need to get really good at sniffing out the ones that aren't. Now, in order to help you with that, your spidey senses have to be up all the time, which also means you have to have done your work, your healing work on your family of origin and your relationship history. And you need to have fully owned your part in your history, in your family history. You need to understand your family history, the traits, the genetics, the epigenetics. You need to understand all of it so you can be present and clear so that when someone does something weird, like disappears for the afternoon and has no good reason why, you go, and you know what your mom did and your dad did and your grandpa did and your grandma did. So you can be like, that sounds familiar because it is. None of this stuff is new to planet Earth. So you have to have done your own work so you can be present, so you can be picking up on things. You have to be creating a safe environment to communicate the truth. Expect there to be at least 7 pieces of bad news in the first few months of dating. If you're not hearing the 7 pieces of bad news, you're you're in denial and they're lying, and so are you.
Or you're hiding it or, not revealing it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Mhm.
so we're hunting for the truth. We're making it easy to tell. We're wanting to find out what each of our liabilities and issues is so we could see if we're a good match. Because
Yep.
maybe I don't mind your liabilities.
Hmm.
One of the things that this woman loved about her deceased husband was he accepted her, even though she had a history that she thought was bad. Right. Like, but he didn't mind. Right. So, like, he was
Hmm.
like, great.
Yep.
My husband and I have liabilities in common, so we just do them together. Like we share certain liability. We both keep clothing around for 30 years. Some people are offended by that, right? So we both don't use real deodorant, right? Some people don't like that. That like rules out a lot of humans I could have dated that wouldn't have appreciated that. So you want to elicit the truth. You want to tell the truth early on in dating. And
Yep.
if you're not finding out the bad parts, you're really they're lying, period. And if you don't know where they are all day or what they're saying doesn't add up, or they don't want to get on a FaceTime with you before they go to a live date with you, they're lying about something.
Yeah. They're hiding something.
And most people are lying about their age and their height on the sites. Absolutely. Like they are. So that's not get over it, guys. Get over the fact that people lie. Get over the fact that they lie on the dating sites and go see if you can meet some people who wish they didn't have to.
You know what? Let's stay on this lie definition thing, Lori, because the I know you know the term sins of omission. Okay. People have different definitions of what's a lie. So I was in two, and I guess this is showing, I guess, something I must have attracted, but I was in two very serious relationships. And each of them ended up basically, well, I don't know what the term is, committing sins of omission, in that they were doing things that obviously I or any other partner would not have liked, but they didn't tell me because I didn't ask about it. And when I found out, it was like, well, I was like, I don't have to be the relationship police. Like, I want an equal. Like, you're responsible for you. I'm responsible for me. I shouldn't have to be the one to ask the right questions. And therefore, since you didn't directly lie, you're thinking you're not lying. So I'll just say a quick summary of one of them. One of them, uh, he was a doctor, okay? And long story short, but basically he had a patient who had a major crush on him. Nothing happened, whatever, but she was just obsessed, right? Sending him letters, leaving him gifts, showing up at his condo, all that stuff, right? Anyway, I said, look, I found out, like, you should have told me. He didn't even tell me this woman. Yeah, thank you. So everybody, her eyes just got very big. He never told me this was even happening. According to him, so this is where I'm getting at values, right? According to him, it wasn't a big deal because he didn't, quote unquote, do anything wrong. He wasn't soliciting it. He wasn't engaging it. He wasn't anything it, but he didn't tell me about it. But that's not the worst part, Lori. The worst part was after the whole thing came out, and I said, look, obviously, you got to cut this off and this is ridiculous. I trust you, but I was really upset. I could have broke up with him. So he knew how serious it was. And I made it safe. And I said, look, you just have to promise me you will cut this off and you won't engage. And that's it. Okay. You can promise me, right? Yes. Promised me. What do you think happened? She showed up at his condo one night. I found out and he didn't tell me about it. And that was it. So I said, that's it. I can't trust you. And to this day, if he was here sitting with us, he would say, well, but that's because nothing happened. Like he was arguing. Well, she showed. He promised he would tell me if. Yes, he did. He did tell her to go away, leave us alone. But she did keep showing up, and I just said, you have to tell me. Like, is she not honoring you, telling her to stay the hell away? Yes, I will. And he didn't. And then he said, well, it's because I don't care about her. Like, and I'm like, yeah, but I asked you to tell me.
Yeah. My eyes got wide because people keep secrets. People keep secrets about their drug habits, their sex habits, their porn habits, their spending habits, their binge watching habits, their Exes. I mean, the list goes on. It's not infinite, but it's a long list of things that people keep secret so they can keep doing it and not get in trouble. Your person has that list. I work with human beings. I always make them do a lie list. Lies include omissions. Something someone would be surprised if they found out is an omission. Everyone has a list. Everyone has a list of omissions. So if you don't know what your partner's omissions are, assume there are some. Period. Period. So you're the naive one for not assuming there were omissions. You're the naive one for being surprised he kept it from you. He really didn't think it meant anything. I believe him. And it really might not have. It might be your idiosyncrasy that needs to know about that stuff. The fact that you specifically asked and he didn't do what you asked, that is a reason to break up.
I agree. If people have a different definition of honesty and values, like to me, that was a value breach. Like he didn't, like he didn't think anything. But I just still to this day can't believe that happened.
If you don't agree on the definition of lying, you can't hold someone to it.
Right.
The Handel method defines lying as omissions, secrets, exaggerations, under exaggerations, outright lies, things you're taking to the grave, avoiding confrontation, thinking but not saying. And then I could go on and list a million more. Everything where someone would be surprised what you're thinking or doing, where we call that a lie. And I recommend to my clients that they teach their partners this culture because it is the only culture in which intimacy thrives, period. And it is the only culture in which fidelity thrives, period.
Teach them what culture exactly?
The culture of defining honesty in that way.
Okay. So come to a clear definition with your partner of what
yes, that honesty includes omission. I won't be surprised.
Yeah.
I won't be surprised if I find this out. Not just outright lies. Oh,
yeah.
I read the book. No, I didn't.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm watching 2 hours of porn a night. Oh, I'm playing 7 hours of video games. Oh, I hit the kid yesterday. Oh, I didn't pay that bill. I'm talking about lies of omission.
Right.
Count those as lies. If I would be surprised to find out, you are making that thing senior to me. And exactly. I want our relationship to be senior to anything else. I want it to be senior to your vices, senior to your children, senior to your work, senior to your video games, senior to your porn. I want to be senior to any other person. I want to be senior. That's what keeps a relationship healthy, sexy, intimate, and fabulous. Without it, it won't stay that way, period.
That totally makes sense to me. If I would be surprised and I'd add and upset about what you're doing, like you should probably tell me because, to him, it wasn't important, but to me it was.
Let me just tell you, that's not a good definition.
Oh, okay.
Because oftentimes people are hiding stuff that the partner wouldn't be upset about.
Okay.
They'd be surprised. You weren't actually my first. I had an abortion. I have another kid from another. Yeah. You have no idea what your partner is going to think of it, actually. Okay. I have herpes.
They might not care. They might not care.
It's not a stipulation I'd be surprised and I'd be upset. It's just I'd be surprised.
Yeah.
You don't know how they're going to react. That's the beauty of vulnerability and intimacy.
All right. What about privacy then, Laurie? Like, what about, actually I have yeah, right. So she's laughing. Someone in my family had an expression she got from her grandmother. You only have to show him half a tush. like she would literally go shopping and not tell her husband like half the shit she bought or just
that's part of the book.
Yeah. Okay. So how much is just intimate for ourselves and we don't have to tell our partner, like, this isn't only my business. Is that a thing?
How much do you want to be loved for who you are and have a truly intimate relationship? So do I think you need to tell every single thing to every single person? Of course not. Do I think I have to tell my husband every garbage thought I have in a day? We don't have time.
Yeah.
But why would I want to keep a secret from someone I love? The only reason I'd want to keep a secret from someone I love is, number one, I want to keep doing it. I want to keep getting away with it, and I don't think I will. I want to keep eating the donuts. I want to keep watching the porn. I want to keep gambling. I want to keep doing the video games. I want to keep dating the person. I want to keep whatever. So I don't tell because I want to keep doing it and I'm not proud of it. I'm ashamed of it. right? That's why I don't tell. And to manipulate their perspective of me so I can get more of what I want. That is not putting the relationship senior. That's putting me senior. Me get what I want. You don't know. You don't have any power.
Wow.
So why would I want to keep a secret if I want that intimacy with my partner? And why would I want to keep a secret if I want the union to be the strongest thing, not the individual? And if
Mm-hmm.
I'm keeping a secret, guess what? So's my partner. Because
Mm-hmm.
that's how that works. It's two peas in a pod. So don't think you're somehow safe if you're keeping a secret. You think they're not. So you either have a culture where you want to tell everything that's important or you don't. And so
Mm-hmm.
there's no private. And then I laugh because I believe this and I live this and I tell my husband everything. We like literally have 2 times a day where we just blah, like we are deeply in communication. And and one year I was like, how do I take this up a notch? And I literally wrote down all my sexual fantasies and shared them with him.
He
It
probably
was
loved it.
so embarrassing. It was
Oh,
so embarrassing. And I did it just because I wanted to test myself, right? Like I wanted to see if I would walk my talk of like, why would I want to hide anything from my husband? These sexual fantasies have nothing to do with him. They're weird. They're freaky. I don't know where they come from. I don't wish to tell anybody else. But as a symbol of my trust and my faith and my willingness to be fully myself and to find new things because we've been together 30 years, I did that.
yeah,
Because why would I not? The only reason I would not is if I'm ashamed. And why the heck am I ashamed? I don't want anyone walking around ashamed. Or if I'm
yeah.
trying to get away with something. I don't want to get away with something in my marriage.
Wow. What about the person who's listening to this in a relationship? And wow, Laurie, this sounds amazing. I wish I could be in a marriage like yours, Laurie. But they're thinking of their guy or their girl or whatever turns them on. And they're just like, how do I even begin, Laurie? This is so not like, we're going along. And now all of a sudden I'm going to say, hey, honey, let's be totally open kimono and tell each other everything and have no secrets and talk about our mission list and what are you thinking and doing that might surprise me and all this stuff. It's like a whole new paradigm. Like, where do they begin to try to get on this type of wonderful
I have
relationship?
such an easy answer.
Okay.
I did a TEDx talk called The Secret Free Diet. It's all about not lying.
Oh, I was going to ask you about
They
that. Okay,
just go,
perfect.
hey, honey, want to watch this TEDx with me? I'd love to know what you think. And
Okay.
you watch it together, you take notes, and then you go, what do you think? And then now you've blamed me and you opened the conversation and now it's on the table. What do you think of this? What's your reaction? Blah, blah, blah. The other thing is that I encourage my clients to start being vulnerable with easy things like what's your dream? What do you want? Acknowledging the person. I mean, there's so many easy ways to start telling the truth and asking for the truth that are not threatening. You don't start with these are my deepest, darkest secrets unless you want, and that's what turns them
Yeah.
on. You warm up to it, like foreplay, right?
Yeah.
So you start with what do you think of this culture? What do you think of this idea? Do you want to know some things? Can I share my dreams? What are your dreams? What's in the way of your dreams? Here's what I think's in the way of my dreams. And then you, just like in a coaching relationship, then you go to what did your parents do? And how did that go? And how do you feel about your childhood? And how do you feel about the things that haunt you? And what secrets are you keeping? And that you go deeper as the person gets warmed up and acclimated and feels safe.
Okay. So that's the secret free diet.
Yes,
That's
TEDx.
excellent.
You just have to put Laurie Gerber TEDx and it'll
All right.
pop.
Last question. What about the women or women, I shouldn't say women, people who are basically settling? And I hear this on a regular basis from my girlfriends, the ones that, not all of them, but many of the single ones that just say, Amy, you're not going to get everything, and they're in a relationship. And I call it the 3 C's: compatibility, commitment, and chemistry. I think you call it the 3 H's, like head, heart, and hoo-ha, right? So you have to have those things. But like I can think of one of my friends right now that has 2 out of the 3. She has compatibility and chemistry or commitment, but they don't have chemistry. Like he's got it for her, but she just is just not turned on by this guy. But he's the best guy in the world. He's the salt of the earth. He loves her to death, totally committed. He wants to be married, blah, blah, blah. She's just bored out of her mind. And the guy she was with previously completely, he was all hoo-ha. He was all like, oh my God, got her juices flowing. So she swung to the other end of the pendulum, which a lot of people do, right? So what do you say about the people that are settling? They're like, I'm not going to get everything, Amy. So this is good enough. Like he's good to me. It's okay.
It's um it's not the best you can do, right? If you pick heart and head, you're probably not going to get hurt, but you're also not going to have madly in love with the love of your life. So if you skipped over doing the family of origin and the personal history and relationship history healing work, you really might be a little messed up in your vibration of who you think you can attract and who you think you can. So you can't believe in all three until you've done that work. So first, a human being who doesn't believe in all three isn't going to find all three.
Yep.
But there's also, I mean, I had a great client, so cute. She dated so many men, and finally got her three H's dialed, found this great guy, hit all the marks, except she was not, she didn't like his look. Like his look was not just not hot to her, but the opposite. Like it was body.
Surprised she got that far with him.
Yeah, well, he had a great body, great eyes. You know what I mean? Like
Oh,
he had a level 6 out of 10 raw materials.
okay.
She was like, I'm going for it. I'm going to tell him. Right. She's like,
Oh
I'm telling
boy.
we designed the conversation. She told him. He was like, oh my God, I'm dying for a makeover. My daughters have been dying for a make. Please make me over. She made him over. He only wears the clothes she bought.
Oh my God. Score.
And, she dictates the haircut. He's like happy as a clam. Like what
Oh,
50-something man doesn't want someone to tell him how to look cute? Like he just like
so she totally made him now like a 10.
updated him from,
Up.
he's divorced. The last
Mhm.
time he had to look good was 30 years ago. She updated him and now she's attracted. How about that? So I'm not saying that's the answer, but if your friend has not told the truth vulnerably and kindly, I need you to lose 20 pounds. I need you to work out. I need you to put this outfit on. I need you to talk to me this way. I need you to tie me up. I need you to, like, if she's not tried to keep, I mean, I had no sex life with my husband when I came to coaching. I didn't give a crap. It just was like, not only was it not there, I didn't care that it wasn't there. Right. Until my coach was like, that's not a relationship, that's roommates. Right? And I was like,
Yep. And that's about 80% of relationships too.
exactly. And so I was
Yep.
like, oh, I don't want roommates. And I was like, oh, my parents. Uh-huh. Okay, I
Yep.
get it.
Yep.
Okay. So I wanted more. So I didn't throw the guy out. I learned how to have a great orgasm no matter what. I learned how to fantasize. I learned how to, what haircut I like. I learned, there's things you can do. So I wouldn't give up on a guy before you at least try the truth plus some help, right? That's my first bit of coaching.
And I would think too, though, Laurie, that I mean, that you can't manufacture mojo though. Cause I mean, I know even like one of the relationships I was in, the first thought I had with this man was that I just really like him. I want to be friends with him. And long story short, it somehow evolved into a relationship, but I was never turned on by him. I was never attracted. I just really liked who he was. But I never got turned on by him because I just wasn't attracted.
For every woman who says that, there's a woman who says the opposite. So you have to try the kiss and see. Because for every woman who says what you say, which I believe, I have women sharing every day on my private Facebook page because I love asking the question, like, did you ever give a guy a second chance and then become attracted to him?
Yeah.
And there's so many good stories. I was
Yes.
attracted at first, then I got to know
Yeah.
him. Then he was funny. Then he said these things. Then he acted
Yep.
this
Grew on me.
way,
Yep.
then blah blah blah. And then I wasn't attracted. And that was true for my husband and
Yep.
me. I wasn't attracted at first. So attraction comes and goes. Now, if you still can't get it up, and I listened to another dating coach say this, which I thought was so spot on. It has to be a 6 or above to start. It can't be a 2,
Out of
right? So
10. Out of 10.
you can get a 6 to an 8. You need to end at an 8 after 3 dates, according to my policy. But you can start at a 6. It's okay, but you can't if there's nothing, right? If there's no possibility, if there's nothing, I'm not asking you to lie about that, or I'm certainly not recommending you settle, but you should try to get a 6 to an 8.
Okay, so 6. So 6. Great, great. That's a good parameter. Okay, Laurie, this has been so helpful. I know everyone is loving this right now and they don't want you to go. But do you have any last thoughts that you think you just want to include in this conversation today?
What I'm finding with my daters who have been maybe off either not having fun dating or haven't been dating for a while is that I just want to say to them, this is what I want to say to you. Don't rush. Just take it one step at a time. Make sure your life is great because your relationships with your children, your parents, your exes, your career, your money, your health, all of it is part of what is going to magnetize your perfect match or your best caliber human. And so don't rush such that you then have to make that human compensate for some personal work you didn't do or for some part of your life you didn't figure out. Give yourself that gift of being your own mate and figure that stuff out with a coach or a therapist or both, such that you really are at your best when you start to put your love light back on so that you attract the best. And if you accidentally fall in love before that, cool, but you don't have to rush. That is the brilliance of being mature. You don't have to rush. You can take your time and do it right.
It's so true. It's like you can't look to someone else to complete you. It's like get your own life full and together and fulfill yourself, first. Do you think it's a matter of probability, Laurie? Like, the numbers game? Like, because I have a friend who's like, I'm just going to go on a gazillion dates and eventually, probability I'll find one good one.
That's a better attitude than most people's in our situation, which is like, it's hopeless. It'll never happen. No people here. To which I go, no.
Yeah.
So it is a numbers game, but it's also an attitude game, of course, right? And playing the numbers game helps you have a good attitude, and having a good attitude helps you play the numbers game. And it's heart, head, and body. If your heart's in the right place, if your head has a good plan, if your body follows suit, you have the best chances of winning. If you take one of those offline, your chances go down.
And remember the dress in the store analogy. That's fantastic. Okay, Laurie, how can we find you? How can we find you if we want some one-on-one coaching help or, to learn about this method, the handle method and the 3 H's and all that?
Go to lauriegerber.com, LAURIEGERBER, like baby food.com. You can get free stuff there. You can sign up for a free consultation with me there. You can, what else? You can learn about private coaching there. You can learn about group coaching there. You can learn about my dating resources. Everything's there. And then there's the fun TEDx talk if you haven't already, put that into your browser, TEDx Gerber, and learn about my take on honesty. But I also have a quiz. Are you ready to date like you mean it? That's another fun thing on the website is, are you ready to date like you mean it? So if you're kind of like, why am I not succeeding or am I ready to get back out there? You might want to take the quiz and then send me an email and tell me your score.
Oh my goodness. You can get ready for a hard dose of reality. Oh my gosh. That's great. Such a valuable resource. And I just love how down to earth and practical all this is. I know everybody got a lot out of it. Thank you so much for being on Awakening Aphrodite.
Thank you.
Would you like to support my mission to help empower people all over the world to be all of who they truly are? If so, please subscribe to the show, leave a review on iTunes, and share it with a friend. And if you're looking to take immediate action to align your energy and optimize your health, visit amyfournier.com. Thanks for listening to Awakening Aphrodite. Let's awaken her together in you. I'm your hostess, Amy Fournier, and I already can't wait to be with you again and for you to hear what I have planned for the next show.
Thanks for listening to Awakening Aphrodite with Amy Fournier. To learn more about Amy, check out her website, amyfournier.com. That's AMYFOURNIER.com. You can also check out Amy's live and on-demand virtual fitness and yoga classes and sign up for her newsletter to receive a free mini ebook of 3 of her top tips for making holistic health a lifestyle. Again, that's amyfournier.com and get your ebook sent to your email immediately. Connect with Amy on the daily on Instagram at FitAmyTV, FITAMYTV, and watch many of the podcast episodes and subtopic clips on her YouTube channel, which is also FitAmyTV. Enjoy, and we'll see you next time on Awakening Aphrodite.